Welcome to our online info session for Ashton College's Certificate in Accounting program. We're happy to have you joining us, whether it's through our Zoom webinar, our live Facebook stream, or our on-demand YouTube video. Welcome to you all. I'm Jake Cressy from Ashton's Marketing and Communications Department. I'm joined today by Rita from the Admission Department, Rika, who will be working in the background, and of course, our Certificate in Accounting program instructor, Ummul. Ummul, how are you?
I'm good, Jake. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm excited to start talking about this program, but before we do that, just a little bit of housekeeping. We're going to have an open Q&A section near the end of this live stream where members of the audience can submit your questions for Ummul to answer. If you're with us on Zoom, you can use the raise hand function or simply type your question into the chat box. If you're on Facebook, you can write your questions in the comments section and we'll be sure to take a look at them there. If you have a very specific question or we don't get around to answering it during this session, you can email us at info@ashtoncollege.ca or call us at 604-891-1249. We also have a toll-free number, which is 1-866-759-6006. Now, to start off this info session, Ummul, we like to talk about your experience, your educational background, and what brought you to teaching with Ashton College.
Okay, so good afternoon, everybody. Now, just small introduction. Yes, I'm a chartered accountant from UK. Okay, I got my whole entire basis of education from the UK. And I'm also a CGA and a CPA in Canada. Now, I have been in accounting since I was 14 years old, really very young, and accounting has become my passion. So I completed my formal education in Singapore, where I did a diploma in accounting and slowly progressed into a chartered accountant. When I was studying for my diploma, I was hired by a public practice just before I got my diploma to be working with them. And it really opened up a lot of doors for me because when you work in a public practice, your accounting becomes strong, your knowledge in accounting, taxes, everything becomes stronger. Shortly after I moved to Canada, and when I moved to Canada, I was again hired by another public practice firm. And this really helped me in a lot of aspects because first of all, I already had a good accounting background, but now it's picking up Canadian taxes and Canadian payroll and everything to do with Canada, right? So I progressively was picking those up until, so I did my own self-development, went for courses, did my own studying and stuff like that. And I became a CPA and a CGA in 2009 in Canada. And in 2013, I was confident in myself and I started my own sole proprietorship business, my own small practice. And I started working with my clients. But that didn't stop me. I slowly associated myself with Quickbooks. And with Quickbooks, I was in the background learning more about it, working behind the scenes and seeing what is the infrastructure. All right. And after that also opened up the avenues to a lot of things because I became a Quickbooks advisor to small businesses, teaching them Quickbooks. Teaching businesses best practices for accounting. So that slowly brought me to Ashton. And finally, I landed in Ashton. I got the best opportunity to actually teach adults for who are either progressing to a new career or changing a career and teaching the practical aspect that it's a very fun, profession. And I believe you guys would, what you have chosen would be one of the best things, I believe. It's a passion.
That's excellent. Yeah. That is a rich background in accounting. You said you started when you were 14?
Yeah.
What does that role look like when you're 14?
So when you're 14 years, well, the thing is the way, because I studied in Singapore, we are supposed to choose a course and we go into the commerce course. And that's where we start learning bookkeeping. And that is part of our A-levels, our O-levels, which is all UK based. Our entire study program is based on UK.
Okay.
So that's where I started off.
That's amazing. I think at 14, I was working at an amusement park. So I think you've had a better career path. Now let's start talking about this program. First question is, who would benefit the most from taking this accounting program?
So firstly, the majority of the people who are going to benefit are people who are looking a foundation, a starting point to start in accounting. All right, this is the best place, this is the best time to start and start learning the basics. It's always ground zero and then you go up. So people who are wishing to either start a career in accounting or wishing to move on, these are the people who are who for whom this program is, because you're learning the fundamentals which is required. And also for people, for business owners, for business owners who want to learn accounting, who want to take this entire little whole new role into their company, saving money on, spending on accountants, this is a good stepping stone for you too, because you are able to lead your company as well. So this is a very good course to for all kinds of people, either if you have a business and you want to cut your cost, so handle your accounting department, or people wishing to start a career in accounting.
Right, that's excellent. I'm also curious, would this course be beneficial to internationally trained accountants, say people from the UK or other parts of the world looking to familiarize themselves with the specifics of Canadian accounting?
Yes, it would be. So there's one thing about accounting laws are that they are uniformed around the world, is global, but Canadian has ASPE, which is the Canadian version of small business accounting formats, which we have to follow. And that's what we have to follow, because 99% of businesses in Canada are small to medium-sized businesses. And therefore, when you are coming over, you need to know what the Canadian standards are. Then your starting point is also learning Canadian taxes and Canadian payroll, which is very important because of the many provinces we have. There are different rules which you have to understand, because if you are planning to work in a bigger firm, you need to know these rules that every province does have to abide by.
Right. Okay. Now you mentioned that a lot of businesses in Canada classify as small businesses. What denotes a small business? Is it the number of employees? Is it a financial bracket?
Yeah, usually it's the number of employees, and sometimes you also want to say revenue.
Okay.
Okay. It depends how broad is your customer base too. We usually define small businesses with employees. All right.
Okay.
So it's 1 to 3, 1 to 5 employees. And and I would say it can go until 10 employees too. And after that, 11 to about 20, 25 employees is called a medium-sized business. However, because 99% of businesses are small to medium, so in Canada, you can imagine that this federal companies, like those who are basically nationwide, those would be the very huge companies. So you can get easily up to 50, 100 staff in a medium-sized company. But there are levels of it. There are different levels of how medium-sized you are. So
Right.
yeah.
Of course. Thank you. So bringing it back to this program, what is the general structure of this program? What methods are you going to be using to teach the subject?
Okay, so for the first thing is we do use a lot of PowerPoint slides, okay? That's basically because we want to introduce a topic. Now, my specific methods are that I always introduce a topic by using icebreakers, finding out at where each student level is, how much do you know regarding to any subject, all right? And then the other thing is when you start teaching a topic, then you start bringing questions inside and start relating to real life, all right? Start relating and working through those questions with the students. For people who have enrolled, you kind of work through with them and kind of take them to different aspects as to, okay, if this would happen, what is going to go on? If this happens, what? Because you want to learn. At this point of time, you're not doing a book study, you're doing a practical life study. And therefore, you are bringing them to each factor in different points in different situations, what are you going to do? And that's how you bring it forward. And also real life experiences. I talk a lot about real life experiences, things that I have worked for 20 years. I have been in the field, things that have happened and things that you look out for. These are some things which I actually base my entire class on. Yeah.
That's excellent. And you have a rich background there, so it sounds like it'll be very thorough. In terms of the PowerPoints you mentioned, will those be made available to students after each class, or will they need to be actively taking notes to ensure that they don't miss anything?
They get it before class, definitely few hours before class, so that they get a head start to actually read the slides. And I have a lot of my students who come in, who read the slides and are able to ask me more questions because they already know what has gone on. So yes, the textbook is there because for them to kind of cross-reference, but the slides are given to them beforehand, but they have also have some fill-in blanks. So as we are going on, they're also writing, so we know that they are kind of following through the lesson too.
Excellent. You mentioned a textbook. Could you tell us what the name of that textbook is and the price if you're aware of it?
I'm not for most of them. I'm not so sure of the textbook. I don't know about
That's okay.
Yeah.
Quite all right. Now, going back to the student expectations, you mentioned something that they're kind of expected to look over the PowerPoints before class, come to class with questions. What other expectations are there of students who enroll in this program?
The first expectation as an instructor, okay? Attend your webinars. Attend your webinars. If you're not able to attend webinars, then please try to watch the recorded ones. That's the first thing, because what an instructor discusses in class usually is what comes out in the exams. That's the biggest thing. So either we understand sometimes webinars become, that something comes in and you're not able to attend, so watch the webinars. The next thing is that spend at least a minimum of 2 hours per day and go through your materials. So if you're wanting to read in advance, go ahead, because instructors do give a list of topics that is going to be discussed for that particular day. Okay, that is always mentioned and it's always given on the platforms, the Schoology platforms or whichever platform which is being used. And also, if you do not want to read beforehand because it might be confusing, just revise whatever has been taught, because that really helps. And best part is do your homework. Complete your homework, complete your assignments, keep up with the class, and that's about it. It's a very easy way to just make sure you excel in this course.
Okay.
Simple steps. Yeah.
Excellent. So you mentioned 2 hour suggested minimum for review time. Does that include the time spent doing assignments outside of class, or do you recommend more time outside of that 2 hours?
So 2 to 3 hours is what maximum, I would say 3 hours. So within that time, you should have enough time to review, enough time to do your homework, because I know instructors, we do not give a lot of work. A lot of homework is not assigned, because I really believe I would want you to pay attention to the concepts than just really grinding on homework. But yes, assignments is something that you should be, something which you should be working on too. So 2 to 3 hours, it should be enough for you to revise or read ahead or do your homework or do your assignment. Or just listen to the recording which you might have missed. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And what would be the nature of the assignments they'd be taking on here? Is it just sort of practical applications of accounting techniques, or?
So it depends on which subject is it. If it's really accounting, yes, you are actually doing the debits and credits. You are actually applying, you're basically learning the concepts and you're getting a case study, right? You're getting a case study where you're whatever you have learned throughout the course is what is you have to hand it. Now, definitely trying to put it in a practical site, a real view, is sometimes a little bit difficult, but there are times I have used actual bank statements to make them understand actually what what is it that you need to enter? What is it that makes a bank statement, and how does it go on to a reconciliation, go on to affecting different accounts? So that instances where we have done that when students really want to put it together.
Right. Sounds like a lot of practical learning, which is great. The program outline mentions 2 different accounting softwares that they'll become familiar with. That's Sage 50 and QuickBooks. Could you tell us a little bit about each of those? Is one more frequently used than the other in the industry?
Right. So both QuickBooks and Sage are 2 very competitive softwares and 2 exceptionally awesome softwares. And both of them have, where one is a little bit more powerful, and then the other one is, not that. So it's a balancing act. Now, Sage is very good with its inventory. Inventory system is awesome. And also it has a very good, awesome audit trail. Now, what does audit trail mean is that if you make an entry in the software and you realize there is an error, or you need to just correct it or just edit it, Sage is not going to allow you to just, kind of use an eraser and just erase it away. It's going to record those changes which you made. So it's really more of, being accountable to what are you actually entering, rather than erasing every kind of trail which you have made. QuickBooks is different in that way. QuickBooks allows you to it allows you to change your information, allows you to edit. Not that it doesn't have an audit trail, it does allow you to see, but it's not, it's much more simpler to correct an error. And also, QuickBooks is a very good software for people who are starting out. It's much more easier to handle. Okay, so it's a more I would say it's a more of a welcoming program for people who are starting out. Now, which is better or which is frequently used than the other? It really depends on a business, and it really depends on your preference. All right, so if you're a person who's very based on methods, then Sage is the software, and a company who requires methods, Sage is the software. If you are a person who likes the activity-based, fun accounting, then QuickBooks is what it is. QuickBooks is fun.
That's excellent. Now, just to be clear, you'll never in a single company have to use both softwares, right? It'll be one or the other?
Yes.
Perfect. That's good to know.
Unless if you're in a public practice. If you're in a public practice, sometimes clients itself, they have their preference of softwares. So they require you to use their preference. So then you have to have both.
Okay, so it can vary on a client basis. Interesting.
Yes.
Now, one of the goals of the program listed on the outline is to familiarize students with the basic accounting fundamentals for managing both a personal/service type business and a merchandising business. Can you explain what these 2 types of businesses are and what the differences are from an accounting perspective?
Okay, sure. So now a personal service type of business is a company who's providing service to another entity. All right, so it's more like an incorporated employee kind of company. Okay, so it's a service based, so there's no product involvement here. It's all service. There's no tangible items which you're actually touching. You're just working for another company. So it's service. So you basically do not have any inventory on your hands. Whereas a merchandising firm is a company where you takes finished goods and it resells to other people. Similar to our Amazon, our grocery stores, that's what merchandising businesses are. And these companies are high on inventory. So when it comes down to accounting, there are different rules of the way accounting has to be held for a company who doesn't have inventory, right? And a company which has inventory. There are rules of how to record inventory. There are accounting rules, and these are necessary to follow. The 2 methods, and the accounting changes, the reports change, the way you look at your profits change. So understanding a service-based business and a product-based business it's essential to actually know how you're going to apply your accounting.
Okay, and are there any businesses that cannot be classified as either a personal service type business or a merchandising business?
So you see, a personal service type of business is when, like I mentioned, is an incorporated employee. So one person is only devoted towards one company, right? Um, Now we have a lot of other companies which are manufacturing. They make the goods, right? They make the goods and make it into finished products, and they actually sell it. So they don't really, they don't really, they, they don't fall under the merchandising because they're not purchasing finished goods and they're not reselling. They're making their goods and then they're selling it. And then we have other services like subcontractors. They have a lot of companies they work with and they're incorporated. We have real estate agents who are incorporated. So there are different kinds of service industries which are incorporated. It just depends how many customer base they have, whether they need only one customer to survive the entire company, or are they a product base? Are they making it from the very beginning, or are they buying a finished product and reselling it?
Okay, interesting. Now, another term mentioned in the course description is double entry accounting. Can you elaborate on that briefly?
Okay, yeah, sure. So now double entry accounting is, in very simple terms, it's your left and right. Okay, so if you put your left leg down, very soon you have to put your right leg down too. Okay, so now, so the thing about double entry is it has debits and credits. If you are going to enter something on the debit side, which is the left-hand side, you have to make sure that same amount goes on the credit side. So basically, double entry accounting is at any point of time, debit, if it's $100, credit has to be $100. There is no point of time in accounting where one is $90 and the other one is 100, because then that's completely incorrect. So that's what double entry accounting is. Basically, your left and right always has to be balanced.
Okay, perfect. Now, the course description also mentions mastering account techniques for both manual and computerized environments. What are some important things to keep in mind for these two different environments?
Okay, so manual accounting is yeah, there are very, very small businesses who do have manual accounting, but it's not very popular now. Now, manual accounting and both computerized accounting, one thing important, you must be very strong in your accounting knowledge. However, in manual accounting, you have to be very detail oriented too. Okay, you have to you have to know your debits and credits. You have to make sure that at the end of the day, if you are putting 100 items on the left hand side, which is a debit, you have to make sure those 100 items and equally amounts are on the credit side too. So every time you have to keep on making sure that you're balancing and all those kind of things. So that's manual accounting. Manual accounting is usually on Excel. Or if you have taken a look, those big ledger books where people had a lot of lines and just keep on writing, those are the kinds of manual accounting. Computerized accounting, we just mentioned Sage and QuickBooks and all the accounting softwares which are out there. That's computerized accounting. It just makes things easier, makes it easier to run reports. The software makes sure that your accounting entries are always equal. Debits always equals to credit. And that being and having said that, you have to make sure that you know your knowledge to apply it to your software. Simple.
Right. So would you say that a knowledge of manual accounting is important because it helps you understand digital accounting?
Sorry, could you repeat that question again?
So knowledge of manual accounting is important so that when you're using an accounting software, you understand what the software is doing for you. Would that be accurate to say?
Yeah, you could say that if you understand, well, if you understand the accounting concepts, then definitely you know what your computerized accounting, because if you know where your items go in your ledgers, then you know where to find it in a computerized accounting system too.
Right. Excellent. Now, this course program is offered entirely online. Some people might be hesitant about that, but can you tell us some of the advantages that the online class format offers?
Okay, so the biggest advantage is the current situation we have worldwide, COVID. Okay, nothing gets interrupted. You're sitting at your house at the safe in the safe confinement of your house without going out and just paying attention to your work. That's the best thing. Now, besides that, I mean, if there's no COVID, and hopefully that goes away soon, we've come from traditional background where we have to see the teacher, we have to face the teacher. But if you think about it, the online format makes it a little bit more easier because you do not have to commute. That's the best part. If the weather goes bad and you're not able to drive or something happens to your vehicle, you have to stay home because of your any kind of personal home commitments, like maybe your child or your better half, anyone for that matter. Um, you can stay home and not think that, oh, what am I going to do? Is anyone taken care of? If you are late from work or if you're really tired, you're sitting at home at the comfort of your home, relaxing and listening to the instructor. Even if you don't want to take notes at that point of time, you're able to listen to your instructor, right? So that's the best part. And another thing is, if you're not in BC, if you're in different province, any province for that matter, any city you're able to catch the program. You're able to enroll yourself in the program. So now distance is no barrier for you. Another thing, in fact, there are lots of advantages is that video recording. The moment online classes finish, online recordings are available at your disposal anytime. Anytime you want to use it, even just before the exam, you want to just see what the instructor has mentioned, you're able to do that. You're able to ask your instructor personal private questions while the lesson is going on without distracting anybody. When you're in a real class environment, people walking out, people coughing, and everything gets distracted. But here, you're not. You're just concentrating on what you need to concentrate, and focus is key, right? So I think online class formats just gives you a focus. It cuts away every kind of any kind of well, what do we say that? Uh, Things that may hinder you from getting to a class. It just breaks those barriers.
That's excellent. Now, this program is accredited by the Canadian Bookkeepers Association. Can you tell us a little bit more about that organization and what their accreditation means for the program?
Okay, so Canadian Bookkeepers Association, it's a non-profit organization. All right. So if and its main goal is for advancing accounting professionals in what they do, and making them a little and show a little bit of a professional stance of bookkeepers in Canada. So it's nationwide. It's helping bookkeepers to have a more to have credibility in them. Now, with Ashton College having Canadian CBA as an accreditation to their course, this really stands out on your resume, right? You kind of stand out from a lot of applicants because there's credibility, the credibility to what you have actually studied, because it's nationwide, and therefore it ensures that you know what you have studied, what is required, and you know everything in you basically know the different rules in every province. Now, accreditation basically shows that Ashton College, CBA has made sure that Ashton College has met and is maintaining the high level of standard in its program. So whatever you study is approved by them.
Excellent. Now, after completing this program, how can students continue to build on the skills and knowledge they've learned?
So there are a few ways on that too. Now, first of all, if you, because you're accredited, the course itself is accredited by CBA, you can go on to be a membership with, have a membership with them. All right, by being a member, what CBA does is that it keeps on sending you bookkeeping articles, text articles, any new update, anything that new happens, they send it to you. So you're constantly being updated, and I think that is the best way, because you're getting something, a source from which you can trust. All right. Next thing, they also have discussion forums for members, and you can ask any topic you're not so sure of, and it will advise you how to approach it, whether it be taxation, bookkeeping, a lot of other subjects. But whenever in doubt, they have that. Now, they also have short-term courses. Short-term courses as in few hours. You just go in there, and they kind of brief you on certain things, which, it will help you, excuse me, help you with help you with working, or whichever way you need to go. Now, other ways is subscribing. These are free of charge stuff, actually, with newspapers on their taxation and accounting part. When you subscribe to them, they automatically, in your Google feeds, you automatically get all these articles. And you keep on getting, and I personally do it too. I save all these articles, and then when I have a class with my students, I share the articles with them. So this, and recently, because of COVID happening, there were lots of changes that happened. And the newspapers keep on sending you these articles, and these are really good ways to keep yourself updated and continue building your skills and going for short courses which only last a couple of hours in a day. So yeah, these are certain things you can just keep on doing.
That is excellent. Now, once students complete this program, what job opportunities should they expect after graduation?
So definitely, one of the few is accounting assistants, accounting bookkeepers, right? If you have no prior experience, definitely you will be at entry level. However, um, now the best part is, because you have in your course, you already received a certain amount of practical experience. All right, practical experience is in practical knowledge, and now when going there working, it will not be very difficult for you. I would say within a couple of years, you will be going on to a position where you might even be supervising a couple of bookkeepers, and that is attainable in a very short span of time.
Okay, and how would something like an accounting assistant position differ from just a straight accountant position?
So accounting positions are basically ground up. They start doing the data entry. They are the ones who actually prepare the reports, making sure that every expense, every sale amount has been recognized, proper paperwork has been done. An accountant is a little bit different. They start using policies and start making adjustments to make sure we are following accounting standards. Start making adjustments. Start doing taxes for the corporation. So that's where accountants are at. Now, it's not that accounting assistants can't do that. It's a gradual climb to that level. They eventually you will understand what an accountant is doing, because you are following through, and you will come to a point where now you are able to do those kind of, basically meet, in between, where an accountant is able to also basically take over a little bit away from the accountant.
Okay, excellent. Now, in these entry-level positions, how much should students expect to make?
Now, this is really based on province to province. Okay, it's because every province has a different minimum wage amount, but definitely you're not looking at minimum wage. You're looking a little bit of a premium, because you have gone through a course to upgrade yourself. So if you're looking at a per annum amount, it can easily start from 33,000 to 39,000, and this is entry level. And this is also the range is because of province to province. It really depends which province you're in. If you go per hour rate, it can be from $20 to $22.50, somewhere there. Eventually, when you go up to that level where you're a supervisor, or a little bit more experienced, it can easily go up to $65,000 or $27 an hour.
Excellent. So you've been in the industry for quite some time. How has the industry changed during your time in it?
Oh, okay. So when I started off, okay, that was like really long ago. Um, Computerized bookkeeping was just being introduced to small, medium businesses. At that time, you're just learning a different kind of software. Now, every company has a computerized software to help them with their bookkeeping. So things have become from manual, and now it has become computerized. Previously, only big companies would have accounting softwares, but now it has become a necessity for small and medium-sized business to be more to be optimized. Okay, so that's how the industry has changed. People are more. It has also changed more online, so these are the changes that has happened in the industry. The way people have decided to do their work. They have moved away from paper and they've moved on more electronically.
Okay, and what changes are you expecting in the future?
In the very near future, cloud is the way to go. Cloud will be the way to go. Now, in fact, what has happened is we have a lot of these blockchain methods where there are softwares that pick up information and they just input it to softwares, cloud accounting, cloud softwares. A lot of things have now gone away from installing things and moving on to where people have access to it from every point. So that's how it's going to advance, and there will be more kind of integration with other apps and stuff like that. But this only means that we do not remain as data entry people. We become high level data analyzers, because now instead of entering stuff, you're not analyzing stuff. So that is a real advancement in the accounting role, because you're no longer pulling yourself by just sitting in front of the computer hours and hours and just inputting information.
Fascinating. Now, aside from knowledge of accounting principles and practices, what other knowledge or skills are important in this field?
Well, the basic, I would say, I think internet skills, knowing how to use the internet, that's good, because you need to do some research. Also, knowing how to use Microsoft, basically your Google Word or Google, what is that? Google Sheets, Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel. Those are stuff which you would really want to know that to use. Those are important, because you're using, while studying, you're actually going to be using a lot of Excel. I personally use a lot of Excel when I'm teaching as well. So that there will be some good skills to actually have. Besides that, if you, for personally, I would say, be very patient. The numbers make sense at the end of the
That's good
day. Yeah.
advice. Now, what are some of the biggest challenges people face in this line of work?
Um, the biggest challenges are when you have people trying to take away our jobs. Meaning that if, because of automation, now a lot of business owners think that they are bookkeepers and they're able to do entries. That's the biggest challenge. And till date, that is something which I find difficult to break. And that's important to change. That's important to change people's mindset and believe, and when people with no accounting knowledge take over, it's a disaster. And me being in public practice, me having my own, 90% of the business owners who come to me who claim to have done their own bookkeeping, I have redone their bookkeeping. So I've spent hours just redoing or actually restarting their bookkeeping. So this is the biggest challenge we do face. The other challenge we do face a little bit, to a certain extent, which I did mention, is automation. But now we are not data entry anymore. We are more analyzers. So that's how our occupation is changing. Instead of sitting in front of the computer, we are going to evolve into more high level analyzing better numbers in a better way.
Excellent. Now, there are a lot of educational paths out there. A lot of institutions offer accounting programs of some kind. Why should students choose to take this program with Ashton College?
So the best part, when I joined Ashton, all right, the best part about it was, and I remember myself asking this question, is that can I discuss my personal experiences? And the person mentioned it at that point of time is that that's what you're supposed to do, because students like to listen to personal experiences. And it's the personal experiences which instructors put in, which is what makes it beneficial for students. And I've realized students actually listen very intently when you start explaining your personal experiences and put that into class examples, and also put that in class practices. So one thing about Ashton that really sets it apart is our instructors. They have a very rich background in working already. They're coming on to here to depart that experience to you and also teach you um, all these different all these methods to actually achieve what you want to achieve. Our instructors have already done what they had to do in their life, and they're passing that information on to you. And that's what makes it different in this course, is that the theory is combined with practical knowledge, and it just helps you when you go out to work, because you know what to expect to a certain extent.
That sounds excellent. Now, we're about to open up the floor for audience questions, but before we do that, we are going to have Rita from our admissions department come on and tell us briefly about the admission requirements for this program.
Hello, everyone. Thank you,
Hey.
Jake. Thank you for the introduction. Ummul, that was very informative.
Thanks,
Honestly, now it's helped me a lot to answer so many questions when I get the calls coming in regarding this program. So thank you very much for that.
Awesome.
I'm going to talk to you. My name is Rita. Let me introduce myself. I am the admissions coordinator here at Ashton College. I primarily deal with the programs that we offer. So I receive all the calls, all the emails, and I'm here to inform you of all the admission requirements needed for this program. So for instance, let's start with, if you don't mind, give me one moment, here we are. The admission requirements for this program are a minimum of a high school diploma with transcripts, to be 19 years of age at the start of the program, and the English language proficiency test if required. To find out if it is required or not for you specifically, please go onto our website under policy on admissions, or feel free to call me always at 604-891-1249 or email me at info@ashtoncollege.ca. Again, my number is 604-891-1249. Email address is info@ashtoncollege.ca. I'd like to also talk to you about the 3 intakes we are offering right now. We are offering full-time intakes that starts February 1st and ends April 29th. The webinars for that intake are Monday to Friday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The live online, we have 2 full times. So the first one I just mentioned, February 1st. The second one is February 22nd until May 19th. The webinars are Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And lastly, our part-time intake is January 12th. So it's literally around the corner, starting soon until August 10th. Those webinars are Tuesdays and Thursdays from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And last thing I would like to mention is the application fee, tuition fee, and textbook fees. If you are a domestic student, meaning a permanent resident or Canadian citizen, the application fee is $200. If you are an international student, it's $300. The tuition fee for a domestic student is $3,450, and for international students, it's $4,485. And please note that tuition fee can be done in 3 installments. And lastly, the textbook fees are approximately $1,000. So again, if you have any further questions, I am in the office from Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Phone number again is 604-891-1249. Email is info@ashtoncollege.ca. Hope to hear from you soon. And thank you again, and have a great day, guys.
Thank you so much, Rita. With that, we're going to open the floor to questions from the audience, which Rika is looking for right now. If you have any questions, if you're in Zoom, you can simply use the raise hand function, or you can type your question in the chat box. If you're on Facebook, drop it in the comments, and Rika will take a look at it there. Rika, do we have any questions so far?
Hi, Jake. Hi, Ummul. Yes, we do have a question from Facebook. You guys might have briefly already discussed this earlier. So someone's asking, I'm changing careers and have no prior background or experience in accounting or bookkeeping. Will I have a hard time taking this course or this program?
So actually, I would say no, because you're starting from ground up. The way this course is structured is the first course, I would say, yeah, it is the basics in accounting. All right. And then once you do the basics, and then you're advancing to more in-depth topics. So that is very important. Learning the basics, yes, of course, you build your foundation, and then learning more, more in-depth topics are very important because those are knowledges which you need when you go out to work. So and the only best part is that, like I mentioned, put in the 2 to 3 hours per day and you should be completely fine. I have people who have had no prior knowledge and who were able to open a small bookkeeping firm of their own. So it's actually very doable.
Perfect. Thank you for that. I have no more questions over Facebook. However, one of our attendees is currently raising their hand. I'm just gonna, hi Didar, I'm allowing you to talk right now. So if you have a mic, I can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi, how are you?
Doing good.
Hi, good.
My name is Didar. I'm Iranian and I do not bring my high school, but I bring my bachelor management. Doesn't matter?
This is an admissions question, so Rita, I suppose we'd have to ask you about this.
Hello. Hi again. I'm sorry, can you repeat that question, please, Didar?
Yeah, I do not bring my high school, but I bring my bachelor management.
That's perfect.
Is it okay?
Yeah,
And
of
also
course.
I have I passed the Foundation 7 in Glen Eagle.
Okay, what we would require, sir, is your degree and your transcripts. Are they in English? Sir, are you still there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, are they in English?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, you would need to submit an English language proficiency test. If you don't mind, Didar, calling me or emailing me at the numbers I have left earlier, 604-891-1249. We could discuss your case one-on-one.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
And you could find that information right on the chat on the right-hand side.
Okay.
Okay.
What if I can't pass the test?
What ICAI can't test?
The English language test is required to be able to take this program.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Looks like you have a written in question here from Allison. Allison says, I only have a basic knowledge of using Excel. Will that be a problem with this program? Is learning to use Microsoft Excel a part of the program? Sorry, you're on mute.
Sorry about that. Learning to use Microsoft Excel is actually not part of this program, but the best thing is that when instructors are actually going through information, basically when I do go through, the first part is we do show what are the things you need to do. It is done so many times and it's so repetitive that there are only very few things that you actually need to know in Excel. So having basic knowledge is the best thing. Only thing you actually need to know is that you've seen what we are doing, and if you do not know how we have managed our formulas and everything, you just can ask and we will always tell you how to do it. But just using basic formulas like addition and subtraction is what basically you need to know. That's all.
Excellent. Now, Rika, are there any more questions?
No questions at this point. Thank you, guys.
Excellent. Well, I have one last question for you, Ummul, and that is if you have any final words of advice or thoughts to share with everyone before we wrap this session up.
Well, like I said, accounting is my passion. I love accounting. And I really do welcome you for this course, and I really hope all of you are as excited to come and enroll for this course and be passionate about it as how I am. There has never been a day where I have been bored with accounting. So yeah, I'll be very happy to see you on board, and definitely everybody else will be very happy to see you on board. So yeah, that's all.
That is so excellent. Thank you for that. And thank you all for tuning into this info session. If you have any more questions that weren't answered, during this session, or if you have some very specific matter, again, you can contact us at info@ashtoncollege.ca, or you can phone at 604-891-1249. Thank you all very much for joining us. Have a great evening.